Well, I think we are live already. Well, good morning, Brazil. Bom dia. Good afternoon, Hungary. Jó napot kívánok. Well, welcome to the webinar Agriculture, Higher Education at USP-Brazil and MATE-Hungary. Challenges and Opportunities in Introductory Disciplines to Freshmen. It's a first effort to approach those two institutions devoted to farm sciences and technologies, the Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Sciences in MATE in Hungary, as well as the School of Animal Science and Food Engineering of the University of São Paulo in Brazil. This is an international webinar supported by the Brazilian Embassy at Budapest and the Hungarian General Consulate at São Paulo. For those who are watching us, thank you for your presence. It's our pleasure to host you. My name is José Rabi. I'm speaking directly from Pirassununga campus of University of São Paulo. So as for the first greetings, let me acknowledge Her Excellency Mrs. Susan Klebank, Brazilian Ambassador to Hungary, directly from Budapest. Mrs. Ambassador, we'll be greatly honored to hear your welcome. It's my pleasure to see you again. Please.
Thank you so much. Dear Professor Laszlo Szekely, Director of the Institute of Mathematics and Basic Science of the Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life, MATE. Dear Professor José Antônio Rabi, from the Department of Biosystems Engineering of the University of São Paulo. The representatives of the Consulate of São Paulo, of Hungarian Consulate in São Paulo, are not yet online, but I would like to greet them as well. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, my name is Susan Klebank. I am ambassador here in Budapest since 2002, with great pleasure. Thank you for accepting the embassy's invitation to participate in this webinar as a follow-up of a similar event that we organized at the embassy last year. I would like to welcome you, researchers of Brazil and Hungary, in the science and higher education. The University of São Paulo, USP, and the Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Science are renowned for their quality of their research and development projects, as well as promotion of innovation parks and international partnerships. The faculty, hi Julia, how are you? Good afternoon. The fact that we are open, you are open to consider possible avenues of cooperation is a valuable contribution to bilateral Hungarian-Brazilian relations. In the same context, I would like to mention the academic exchange that happened under the Brazilian Science Without Border program, which brought more than 1,000 Brazilians to study in Hungary between 2011 and 2015. As well as the Hungarian International Exchange Program Stipendium Hungáricum. Since 2017, this program enabled 50 Brazilians to study at the MATE University, 14 of which are currently pursuing their academic titles, including 5 PhDs. On the Brazilian side, the government will provide around 1,500 higher education scholarships for foreign students next year through the undergraduate student program PEC-G, which is open to Hungarian candidates as well. I strongly believe that cooperation in science and technology is a priority in order to promote Brazilian-Hungarian relations. Our two countries are open to international cooperation. Global challenges like climate change, social inclusion, energy transition, pandemics, or the development of artificial intelligence, just to mention some topics, are you listening to me? Are the object of daily attention by the international media. Just a moment, I think there is a problem with the, are you listening now? Okay, there was a problem. Do I need to repeat something?
No, it's okay. Just
fine. So these subjects that I mentioned, they are some topics that are object of daily attention by the international media required exchange of experience and expertise among countries. I hope that the meeting, such as this one today, may bear fruits and lead to other contacts in the future. The embassy will remain at your disposal to support this dialogue in whichever way we can. I wish you a very fruitful conversation and look forward to resuming this initiative maybe next year, also with the kind cooperation of the Hungarian General Consul in São Paulo as well. Susanna Laszlo, that is there. Hello, good afternoon. I apologize that I have to leave the meeting because I have to follow the sessions of the World Science Forum that the Hungarian authorities and the Hungarian Academy of Science is organizing today, and it's very fruitful as well. I wish you all the best. It was a pleasure to know everybody, and we remain at your disposal for next year. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mrs. Ambassador. It was a great pleasure to see you again. And thank you for the support for the embassy as well. Let me now... Yes,
my pleasure. I'll just say goodbye then. And sorry for having to leave.
No, okay, it's all right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wislat.
Wislat, yeah.
So let me now acknowledge Her Excellency Mrs. Zsuzsanna Laszlo from the Hungarian General Consul in Brazil, in São Paulo, speaking directly as well. Mrs. Consul, it's my pleasure to see you again. And it will be a great pleasure to hear your warm greetings too. Thank you. Thank you. Your microphone, please, Consul.
Okay, is it, can you hear me? Okay, good. So, good morning, everyone. I'd like to wish you a warm welcome in this international webinar about agricultural higher education at USP-Brazil and MATE-Hungary. It is a great pleasure to see familiar faces. First of all, my dear colleague and friend who just left, Ambassador Susan Klebank, who always has been a great supporter of bilateral initiatives of our countries. I'm also delighted to meet again, this time only virtually, Professor José Rabi, who's already cooperating with a Hungarian startup in the frame of Eureka Innovate Call for Proposals. Congratulations, Professor. Our bilateral agricultural relations go back to the 80s of last century, when Hungarian agronomists arrived to Pernambuco, namely to Petrolina, and helped creating viticulture in this region. Recently, a Hungarian bactericide and fungicide called Stericlean has entered the Brazilian market and is having great success in some Brazilian states like Paraná, for example, and is being tested under tropical circumstances. I believe it is a great success too. In April this year, a Hungarian company, Dr. Bata, opened a factory in the state of Santa Catarina, namely in Chapecó, and provide Brazilian farmers with high-quality feed additives. So Brazil and Hungary are both references in agriculture. Brazil is being one of the biggest exporters of the world, agricultural exporters of the world. And Hungary, with only 10 million inhabitants, is able to feed at least 20 million people in the world. So to maintain our outstanding position, agricultural higher education is crucial for both of us. Today, we have the opportunity to discuss this cooperation, and I'd like to thank all organizers and participants for being part of these initiatives. And without further ado, I'd like to wish you a very fruitful and great webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Council. It's our pleasure to have you here too. Thanks for your kind words. Let me now acknowledge the presence of the Professor Carlos Umbrosa, who is the director of FZ USP, for his greetings too. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. Here I'm acting as I'm now the Dean of the Faculty of Animal Science and Food Engineer. We also have the veterinary medicine here and the biosystem engineer here. And then it's a great pleasure for me to see what's going on among the USP and the Hungarian researchers that are great names here and colleagues here. I know that Rabi will present some things, and our colleagues here and show what they are doing here, and then will be a great pleasure to receive some of you that you have or an idea or are already doing a collaborative work with our colleagues here. And I'm here just to say that you are really open to new collaborative works. Receive you here, receive your students, master, PhD, and undergrad students here, and we are really like to send our students to stay with you too. Okay, so I don't want to spend so much time because you can discuss science and discuss what each one are doing. And then I just wish you a pleasure day, a pleasure hours of working. Okay, thank you very much to all of you to be here and listen to this audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Umbrosa, for your words too as well. And so let me now finally for this greeting session, let me now acknowledge Dr. Laszlo Székely, Director of the Institute of Mathematics and Basic Science at MATE-Hungary, for his initial words. Good morning, Laszlo. My pleasure to see you again. Hogy látom.
Örülök, hogy látlak. Good morning, good afternoon, Her Excellency, dear guests, dear colleagues. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to open this webinar. The whole thing just started when Professor Rabi visited Hungary during his sabbatical and also visited us and our department and our institute in the summer, and we had some discussions on freshmen's knowledge and their knowledge or not knowledge about initial science subjects, and it turned out that even Brazilian colleagues have or are working with the same problems with us, and it turned out that it would be very fruitful to collaborate and help each other and maybe give some ideas or good practices to help each other's work. So I do hope that this webinar is going to be very fruitful and for both partners. And I know that we have only now 2 hours. We discussed with the colleagues that maybe later, if we can continue, or even with smaller groups also. And also, just let me mention, since we have our department or our institute previously had good not Portuguese but Spanish speaking colleagues. So in South America we had some connections with Chile, with universities in Chile, or for example in Venezuela, but not with Brazil. But I do hope that this will turn around now. And also, just since we have so high diplomats in our group also, just let me mention that our institute, our Department of Mathematics gave, he was a good, there was a colleague who spoke very well Spanish, so he was the ambassador in Uruguay in the early 90s. So we also dedicated a high diplomat also from our institute. So I don't want to spend too much time on just welcome. So thank you very much, and I do hope it will be very fruitful for both partners. And I do hope that this will be, I'm sorry for saying this, but this will be a beginning of a beautiful friendship. I'm sorry. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laszlo. I think now we can start the presentation sections of the webinar. We can start with the USP-Brazil, and Professor Ambrosi, would you like to make a short presentation? I have a presentation myself. It's up to you.
No, you can follow, Habi. Okay.
Okay. So let me share the my screen here. Just a second. Right. I guess I have already made this presentation when I went to the Budai campus, when I went to Budapest. But anyway, let me make a short presentation of what the School of Animal Science and Food Engineering is like. It belongs to the University of São Paulo in Pirassununga campus. So as we have already introduced, Professor Carlos Ambrosi is our dean at the moment. The vice dean is Carlos Oliveira, and we have the International Relations Committee as well, and then we have the contacts for the international office, just in case you need. Well, Brazil, as Professor Ambrosi said, it's a large country. And FSA is located in the southeast part of the region of the country. The main campus is located in São Paulo city itself, where both Julia Morovan and Jujana Lazo are located right this moment. It's pretty close to them, actually, as just about 10 minutes drive, if I'm not mistaken, if the traffic is good. And well, the University of São Paulo has actually 7 campuses. 4 in São Paulo, it's distributed in 7 cities. São Paulo itself has 4 campuses. Bauru is another country town, city. Piracicaba, where I'm speaking now, Pirassununga, Lorena, Ribeirão Preto, Santos, and São Carlos. They are all, 8 cities. And we're talking about 6,000 students at undergraduate level and almost 40,000 at the postgraduate level. More than 300 undergraduate programs and almost 360 for postgraduate programs. And I'm talking precisely now from the Pirassununga campus, also referred to as Fernando Costa campus of the University of São Paulo. It's in the countryside. It's about 200 kilometers from São Paulo city, where the School of Animal Science and Food Engineering is located. This is the picture of the main building. This is the largest campus of the university. In fact, it's an experimental farm. It has, we are talking about 1,300 students, or almost 500 at undergrad level, and almost 500 at postgraduate level. We offer 4 courses at undergrad level, namely animal science, food engineering at both night and day shifts, biosystems engineering, and veterinary medicine. At postgraduate level, we have 5 programs: animal science, food engineering, animal bioscience, material science and engineering, and management innovation in the animal industry. And this is at a glance the 4 departments. We have the school is divided into 5 departments. The Department of Basic Science, which is the main focus of this webinar. Maybe we can organize follow-ups webinars involving the other 4 departments, but today basically the Department of Basic Sciences. Also the Department of Animal Science, the Department of Food Engineering, my department, the Department of Biosystems Engineering, and the Department of Veterinary Medicine, to which the Professor Lombroso belongs, by the way. So basically, in a nutshell, this is the University of São Paulo, the School of Animal Science and Food Engineering of the University of São Paulo. Thank you. So let me close now, and then I now invite Professor Istvan Szabo, Vice Rector of Education and International Relations of the MATE University, and he's also the Director of the Institute of Technology, to introduce MATE to our audience. Please, Professor Szabo, it's my pleasure to have you here.
Sorry, just looking at the list of the participants, it is possible that maybe Professor Szabo couldn't join, or he couldn't come. So
sorry, Laszlo. Yeah, I didn't have a look at it. But well, as you wish.
I have a short presentation on in general on the university. So if you allow me, then I will tell a few words instead of him about our university in general. If I don't know, or we can try to reach him, but maybe it's better just to just discuss it.
Whatever you think it's best. Well, in the meantime, we're talking live from Hungary as well as in Brazil. Eventually, I think the chat is already open. You can post your comments either in Portuguese or in Hungarian or even in English. I'm following. Well, I have 3 monitors here. I'm looking at you now, my monitor and the transmission here on my right, and I can follow the chat. Please be just at will. Post your comments, your questions, either in Hungarian, English, or Portuguese. Yes. Should we move, or we can skip, and then we go back. It's up to you.
Just a sec. We're trying to reach him, but just a sec.
No worries. Well. If you don't mind, I can invite the Professor Andrés Versik for introducing the department, if you wish. In the meantime.
Okay, we just reached Professor Szabo. It turned out that he had to attend to a funeral, so he only. One of the former deans just passed away, so if I don't want to speak instead of him, so maybe if it is possible, then let's swap the points, and maybe let's go on with the introduction of the institute and the departments, maybe if it's possible, and Professor Szabo will join in around half an hour, if it's okay, or should I speak about the university now?
No, just fine. We can skip, and then we can go back.
I'm sorry. So
my feelings, by the way, my feelings. So let me now. So I invite now Professor Dr. Andrés Versik. He is the head of the Department of Basic Science here of the USP-Brazil to speak about talk about a few words his department. Please, Andrés, it's our pleasure to have you here.
Please turn on the microphone. We can't hear you.
Yes, it seems he's muted. Andrés, can you join us? Well, Laszlo, if you want to introduce the Institute of Mathematics and Basic Science, up to you. Then we go back to Andrea.
Yes, until Professor Vecchi can solve the problem.
Yes.
All right, just let me just a sec. All right, so just let me briefly introduce our institute. So our university has 5 campuses, and our institute is present at all 5 campuses. The headquarters of the institute is at the Szent István campus at Gödöllő, which is the largest campus of the university. And also, so our staff has 32 persons working in academic positions, and we have 3 colleagues who are helping and work in administrative and in laboratory operations. Our staff.
Laszlo, sorry to interrupt. I think the slides are not. I think they are not being properly shared in the screen.
I'm sorry. Maybe just a sec. Yeah, I will choose full screen instead of just choosing the window. I'm sorry. Can you see it now?
Well, now, perfect. Now, yes.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
Okay. Okay. So thank you. So our university has 5 campuses, and the headquarters of our institute is at Gödöllő at Szent István campus, and our institute is present with some colleagues in all of the campuses. And our institute has 35 colleagues, 32 works in academic position, and 3 works in a functional position. More than 70% of our colleagues has already had a PhD, and next year I do hope that even 3 more will join to this group. Also, which is important about today's webinar, that more than 50% of our staff, of our academic staff, is also a qualified secondary school teacher. So they also have the right to teach also in secondary schools. It means that many of the colleagues are following what happens in secondary school, and we are trying to also build all the changes into our subject. And also, just let me mention that some of the colleagues are also working parallelly or as a part-time job in secondary schools as well. Also, just let me mention that several of our colleagues are pursuing methodological research. So many colleagues have maybe some innovative actions also. And what I forgot to put on the slides is that also we also won a few years ago. I mean, some colleagues at Kaposvár have won an Erasmus Plus project. I mean that they were the coordinators of that project. And also we are very proud that one of our colleagues, Eva Dékány, who is working at the Department of Mathematics, just won the award of being the most innovative teacher in 2024 at our university. And in the session when we will speak about some mathematical methodology, then she will also speak about some of her experiments. And let me introduce our department. So we have 4 departments. The Department of Applied Statistics is mainly situated at the Buda campus, and the Department of Chemistry is mainly situated at Gödöllő and Kaposvár. The colleagues of Department of Mathematics are situated almost everywhere in the university, and the Department of Physics is basically working at Gödöllő. And I just mentioned some research areas of the departments. Maybe some of them will also will be interested for the Brazilian partner also. So maybe we might initiate also some works on not just methodology, but even on some scientific areas also. And let me say a few words about how we teach, or how our teaching is set up. So unfortunately, since we're working in an agriculture university focusing on agriculture, we don't have an own bachelor program, but also we are teaching in 23 bachelor programs, and this is very varying. So we are teaching in programs focusing on agriculture, like animal science or horticultural engineering, etc., or also food engineering. And we're teaching in mathematics for students in economics, in engineering, and also in informatics. So whenever we are setting up the curriculum, we have to be cautious that we are speaking to a wide variety of students. Also, we are teaching in several master and doctoral programs. Many of our colleagues are also supervising PhD students. And also, just let me mention that we are preparing a master level program, which is called Agricultural Statistician. And I do hope that, so we think that this is going to be a very unique program. We try to initiate it in 2 years, first in Hungarian, but later we are trying to initiate it also in English. And maybe some of your students might be also interested in that. We are trying to teach such statisticians who are equally or they are equally prepared to work with agricultural engineers, so they understand what they want to do, and they can help their work also. Also, just let me mention that since Professor Quang Nguyen could accept our invitation to introduce the bioengineering bachelor program, I would kindly ask you just to mention here the structure of the subjects now, and I won't speak about it later. So this is the graph of our subjects, how they are built up. So basically, in the first semester, we have one not basic level, but mathematics for students in agriculture.
Sorry, Laszlo, I think.
Yes.
I think you have an interruption in Sino.
Okay, so and also one path for mechanical engineers, and this is the first semester, and these subjects are focusing on so they are very introductory, and there is also a revision part also for secondary school mathematics, and these are the subjects which we have in the second semester, and you can see we have calculus or a mixture of calculus and probability, or we have a pure statistics course mainly for agriculturals, and also multivariable calculus for bioengineers, and in the third semester, some engineers and economists study also mathematical statistics and operations research. And also, just let me mention the subjects what our physicist colleagues and chemist colleagues teach. So mainly in the first semester, for engineers, we have physics or environmental physics, and also biophysics is for horticultural engineers. And also, like in mathematics and also in chemistry, the subject is partly a revision on secondary school. We are trying to level the students up for the level what is necessary to begin university level studies. And also we have some courses for the second semester. The Department of Chemistry is teaching only in the first semester some introductory courses. This is due to the fact that because of the structure of the university, that our institute involves all the mathematicians, all the statisticians, and all the physicists in the university, but there are several other applied chemistry departments in the university, so we are just teaching the basic subjects. And that was our short introduction. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Laszlo. I think I can now invite Professor Andrés Versic to introduce the Department of Basic Science here at USP-Brazil. Andrés, can you join us now? No. See him in my screen, but I think he's not able to join for some reason. He says his sound test is okay, but we cannot hear him. Do you hear him? Laszlo, can you hear Professor Andrés? They're in Hungary.
We can't hear him.
He says he doesn't know what's happened. Well, Andrés, if you want to join me here, I'm at Zeb right now at the meeting room. If you want to join me. In the meantime, I invite Professor Ana Souza to present the Biosystems Engineering course. I think it's better. Andrés, try to figure out what's going on, then otherwise you can come here and join in at the meeting room. In the meantime, I invite Ana Souza to present the Biosystems Engineering course. Ana, it's our pleasure to have you here with us.
Good morning, everyone. Give me a minute, please.
Just nice, thank you.
Okay. And I'll talk about Biosystem Engineering course and considering our current program. Our program has changed at this moment, and the new one will be implemented in 2005. But this picture can, oh, sorry. I don't know.
But we can still see it.
Eu não sei.
Yeah, thanks.
These changes can't be seen here, but the colors here are good to explain how our course is divided. Yellow part corresponds to basic education, and the green one is foundational engineering or basic engineering, and the orange part is the specific training for biosystems engineering. Here we see how the course is divided. But now we have a different program. Give me more minute. An extra minute. Now it's okay.
Yes.
Biosystem engineering is a field that integrates principles of engineering, biological, environmental, and technological science. The idea is to develop innovative and sustainable solutions in sectors like agriculture, livestock, environment, and biotechnology. And these fields encompass everything from automating production process to develop intelligent systems, monitoring, data analysis, and technologies like sensors, artificial intelligence, signal processing, image processing. It's a field that integrates many areas of knowledge. And despite of the great potential of this program, the gap between high school education, either basic education, and the demands on the foundational courses in engineering programs, it becomes more evident in recent years. In the past, most incoming students come from elite schools, and which made this issue less noticeable. However, with the expansion of the access to higher education and the increased diversity of educational backgrounds among students, many of these incoming students face difficulties in fundamental subjects such algebra, calculus, chemistry, even biology. And now, as programs coordination or graduation, we face the additional challenge of balancing students' difficulties with the expectation of professors who often require a high technical level and from students. And we think that a potential solution to this scenario would be the implementation of preparatory course. But I'm not sure if it's enough. Ok? Meu computador está dando problema aqui, Rabin.
Don't worry. I'll keep going with you. Well, thank you, Dr. Anna, for your presentation. Last, do you have anyone else before I try to I think Andres is, I can see Andres in my screen now. Andres, would you like to join us?
I think it doesn't, oh, okay, it's working.
Great, now we can, finally, good, thank you. Good morning, Andres. It's our pleasure to have you with us for the presentation. Please introduce the Department of Basic Science to the audience. My pleasure.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for the problems. I tested the sound several times, but finally it has worked. I will share my screen. Are you seeing the screen? My screen, please. It's okay.
Just a second. It's just a black screen for the moment. If you want to send me by email, I can start present from my computer, and then you keep talking.
And Andres, please close the windows and open now. We have the problem to see.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let me stop the share.
Yes, perfect. Now, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to do some brief introduction of our department. Thank you to the organizers for allowing us to introduce our department and to take part of this meeting. We are the Basic Science Department. We concentrate the lower years courses and subjects. Our goals here in our school is providing a solid background in basic sciences to the student of all the undergraduate programs, and which are 4, as Ravi commented, and the 5 graduate programs. We do research in the several fields of basic sciences. We offer some cultural and diffusion activities to the external community, mainly related to basic sciences. We try to follow the trends in the advances of science and technology and bring them to our community, internal and external community. These are our mission in the school. Our department was created in 1992 with the school, was one of the 2 first departments of our school. Currently, we have 70 professors grouped in 3 categories. I'm not sure if the translation is right, according to Wikipedia, but we have 3 categories of professors. The full professor, associate professor, and assistant professor must be the equivalent. We have 11 members of the technical and administrative staff. We have 2 secretary in our department, and the rest are technicians of our laboratories. We have 70 research labs in our university, in our school. We have the policy of each professor has a responsibility for a known lab. And among those labs, we have the biomaterials and biosensors lab, nanotechnology and devices, magnetic resonance, applied physics, computation, instrumentation, numerical simulation, information technology, image and signal processing, biological chemistry, physiology, neuroscience, and proteomics, and research of teaching. So I see a lot of common interests in between our 2 institutions. So I'm very happy of being here. We have 3 teaching labs where the students do the experiment in the courses, and 1 biotherium. We have, I think, 3 in our school. One of them is in our department. And we have 2 labs, 2 groups, which are certified by the Brazilian Research Council, which is called CNPq. One lab with physics applied to biological systems, and the other one is the advanced materials group, the group that I belong. The courses that the fields of knowledge we work is math, physics, chemistry, statistics, computation. We have some colleagues of our department, Professor Eliana, which is professor of calculus and physics. I saw Professor Adriano, which is professor in the area of computation. And we have also some biological sciences in our department, like ecology, zoology, botanics, which some of them are part of the curriculum as Ana Carolina exhibited. Ana Carolina also worked in the area of computation and signal processing. So these are the main part of our department. We have several physicists. I'm one of them. Some people with background in chemistry, statistics, and math to offer all those subjects. Our department, as I said, was created with the school in 1992. Our department participated in the creation of the first course in our school, which was animal science. Then in 2001, we created the food engineering course in night shift, and then in 2004 day shift. And in 2009, 2 other courses were created by system engineering and veterinary. And our department contributed currently contributes in all those courses. In 2012, 2 other departments were created. This distribution has changed a little, but even now we offer courses in all the courses in all the programs of our institution. Rabi asked us to imagine some points to discuss in our meeting on maybe in future meetings, and I would like to share with you some concerns that we have in our department. One of them is the interest of the students and people in general in science and engineering. We have seen fewer people looking for science or engineering careers when entering the university. Of course, we have concerns about the students' background, how they arrive to the university, and how they arrive from the background from school and high school that they have. We have some concerns about curriculum and the career structure, as Anna Carolina commented, regarding the biosystem engineering course that we are modifying now. We have some governmental institutional policies, not politics, but I mean, we have a tendency to make shorter courses, shorter careers, and this may difficult some the solution of some problems. For example, the student background. So we don't have space in our careers for basic math courses or something like this. And I personally, I think that the way the students enter the university, which is by an admittance exam, is a problem which affects not only the teaching here in university, but also affects the high school programs. So I think we are part of the problem and not the solution, as many times we like to see ourselves as a solution of the problems. Maybe we are part of the problem. So I think some of these issues maybe are common with Hungarian institutions, and some of them are particular of our institution. But I think that any talk and any discussion about these problems will be useful for have a better programs and better university. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andres, for the presentation, which was very interesting one. Laszlo, may I invite Dr. Ontal Veres for a presentation? The course you...
Yes, initially I mentioned him as part of the program, but he couldn't keep his presentation, so that's why I had the structure of our programs. I mean in the presentation, but I would like you to invite. I've seen Professor Quang Nguyen from the Institute of Food Engineering, who joined us to, if possible, just to introduce the bioengineering bachelor program. Okay, so.
Yes, perfect. Yes, please, Professor Nguyen.
Thank you very much. Good morning for Brazilian college, and good afternoon for Hungarian college too. Yeah, and I'm very happy to present my program. Could you please let me to share? Can I share it? Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm sorry, until just Professor Guyan shares his presentation, just let me just verify that we are also suffering from almost all of the problems which just Professor Verchik mentioned. So I
That's
think
why
we
you're
have
here.
a
Yeah,
lot,
that's why you're here to discuss them. That's why. That's why
lot of to discuss. Yes,
that's precisely the biggest reason of this webinar, actually. And by the way, Laszlo, I have prepared myself some slides for the student system. Have you too?
I cannot share, but I can discuss some. I can try to discuss. But if you so seeing, you cannot. So yeah. So first, I just will use some introductions about our institutes, the institutes of the food science and the technology. Was also funded with the MATE, Hungarian University of the Agriculture and the Life Science in the 1st of February 2021. And of course, we have the quite long history with the different campus. You know, the campus of the Pannon in the Kasai is the oldest campus in the agriculture in the Europe. So that means MATE has very long histories. And we have the many bachelor program, including the food engineering and the bioengineering program. I would like to introduce to you. And our institute has also the three a master program with the food science and the technology engineering, food safety and the quality engineering, as well as the food nutritional science. And we also have the one doctoral school of the 13 doctoral school in MATE, called it the doctoral school of the food science. And we locate in the Buddha campus. As you was informed that by the Professor CK, that the MATE has 5 campuses, and we are in the Buddha campus. And we are the biggest institutes of the MATE with more than 130 members of the staff, including 10% of the full professor, 33% of the associate professor, and 30% of the assistant professor. And we have the lecturers about 15-18%, and include and another staff members. And we have the full program. We have the undergraduate program with the food engineering, bachelor's levels, at the bioengineering bachelor levels. In the MSc levels, master's levels, we have the food science and the technology engineering, food quality and the safety engineering, nutritional science. We have the doctoral school, and as we also have the numbers of the specialized trainings program, like the chocolate, coffee, tea training program, fruits and vegetables processing professionals, engineer program, palinka makers. Do you know palinka is special Hungarian this spirit in Hungary? So that's we have the palinka making professional engineer program. We have the food industry digitalizations, as well as the beer brewerings masters program too in the specials. And we have the comprehensive international relationship, including the Brazil too in the map. I not show you, but you believe me, we have this map too. And regard to the bioengineering program, you know, the main aim of this program, or the main goals of these programs, we try to develop the many competence for the engineers, such as the able to work in safe and environmentally friendly with the biologicals, biotechnologicals, and the microbiological systems, providing service and the commercial tasks related to the bioengineering fields, able to carry out the biotechnological tasks in the laboratory, in the semi-pilot or the pilot, and even in the industrial scale, to learn the new methods and the new technologies to perform the safety and health tasks too, able to carry out more complex tasks, practical applications in the fields of the selected specializations, able to carry out subtasks in the development and the design of the biotechnological systems, new processes and the products, research in the chemistry and the biochemistry and the related sciences, application of the computer science and the database, the artificial intelligence, database driven production system too, getting knowledge and understandings, the new processes and the products and the systems, not previous knowledge and understand the technical documentations in the at least one foreign language, especially in the English, in the Hungary, yes. And we have many subject course to develop, to provide the engineers to the obtain, so develop the skills like the generous and the bioorganic chemistry and mathematics, as the Professor Seke also mentioned, is the regard to the statistics in the biological science, and the applied statistics is the relate to the natural science. And we have also the physical chemistry, basic principles in the mechanic, flow rheologicals and optical fundamentals of the complex biology, and the fundamentals of the economic. And we also have the introduction into the engineering applications of the digital device, thermodynamic, organic and the biochemistry, mathematics of the multivariables, applies enzymology, generals, microbiology, analytical chemistry for the bioengineer, fundamentals of the environmental protections, unit operations. This is a very important subject. We have the 3 courses of this subject: applied microbiology, colloid chemistry and rheology, measurements and automatizations, microbial genetic, data analysis and the presentations, analysis of the biological samples, biochemical engineering, basics of the molecular biology, bioseparations, quality control of the project and the project management. We have also the project work and the thesis work in the different courses, and as well as the internship. Every student have to pay at least 4 weeks for the internship in the commercial or the production systems. We also focus on the microbials bioengineering, meaning, or microbials biotechnology, meaning we try to utilize the capacities of the microbiology in this case, and we have the unique unit in the Hungary or even in the Central Europe. That means we so-called is the microorganisms collections in our institutes. So that means we have the agriculturals and the industrials microorganisms collections. And we have also the production, the subject of the production and the safety aspects of the transgenic organisms, as well as the basic of the plant or the facility designs. of course, you can access the curriculum at the MATE web pages in the education administrations, and we have three specializations of this program, and the student can select the specializations after the semester 4, and if they have enough, they obtained enough credit, at least 90 credits at the by the end of the semester 4. And we have the applied biotechnology specializations, or the modules with the basic of the bioinformatics, and they can learn some specializations, some special subject like the basic of the bioinformatics, toxicology, bioproduct technology, as well as the maintenance and the developments of the strains for the industrial applications. The second one is the bioanalysis. In these specializations, students or the engineers can learn some skill like the biosensors, destructions, no destructions, analysis method, complex analysis of the biocompounds, as well as the immune analysis. And the third one is the environmental technology. We have the some special subject like the environmental microbiology and the bioremediations, air and waters technology, environmental technology, and the energy recovered from the biomass or the renewable energy. So that is the overview of the structures of our bioengineering BSc levels. And of course, if you require it, I can give more details in these courses. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Nguyen. Well, I think I profit from your presentation just to share another course we offer here, which is the food engineering program. Let me share my screen. I will start precisely with the screen, which Professor Souza shared a few minutes ago, which is the Biosystems Engineering course. Well, here you see again in yellow, as she said, is the basic courses provided by the basic science department. Then we can say the professionalized in green, and then the final specific disciplines in orange. And this is the now you have to please just look now, twist your angle 90 degrees, and instead of looking from side to side, just look at now from top to bottom. But again, this is the food engineering program, where again we have this high concentration of basic disciplines, obviously for freshmen or sophomore in the first 2 years. And then most of these subjects Professor Nguyen provided in his presentation, they are contemplated either in blue or in orange or in green. So we have many, not coincidences, but we have superpositions of many subjects in both institutions. Laszlo, should we make a short break, and then we start the discussion session with the schooling system? What do you think?
Yes, we might have a break.
Okay, so let us have a break for 5 minutes. Now it's 11:15 here in Brazil. I think it should be 15:15 in Hungary. So we make a break for 5 minutes.
Okay.
But we come back in 5 minutes. Thank you. that's a good break. Now it's the let us open now this discussion session of the webinar. The idea is to share ideas, to share experiences, testimonies, and for those who are watching us now, thank you for your presence, and just be comfortable to post your questions, remarks, or anything, observations in the chat. Either in English, Hungarian, or Portuguese, and that's why I have this biggest help from Julia Morovan at the Hungarian consulate at São Paulo. By the way, good morning, Julia. It's good to see you.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hello.
Would you like to say some words, please?
Yes, sure. I'm very excited to hear both about the Faculty of Animal Science from USP, which I know less. I know a little bit more about MATE, but it's good to see what both sides believe that would be interesting for the other, where we could start with the cooperation. And I can see here at the YouTube that we have in the chat some interested students because they had some relevant questions already. So, I'm looking forward to see what will happen.
Okay, Julia, just don't hesitate to raise your hand and to bring us comments, questions, anything people will post through the chat online. Well, let me share this screen now. Let's go. Well, we started from the institutions, then departments, and then let us go back to the schooling system. We are actually undergoing a change here in Brazil, by the way. Let me share what this change is all about. High school, obviously. Let's speak about high school. So until this year, precisely 2024, that's what we have here in terms of schooling. We have what we call BNCC, the Common National Curriculum Base. It is divided in 4 lines, which I will explain shortly ahead, comprising 3,000 hours, 1,800 in this common base, and then what we call itinerary. This is a difficult word to say. Itineraries in 1,200 hours. This is until this year. From next year on, it will comprise basically the same 3,000 hours in high school for Brazilian students to accomplish, but instead, 300 hours will migrate. Let's put this way. Let me say this way: will migrate from the itineraries block to the base block, in order to comprise 2,400 hours. And I divide it into 4 colors. Well, it means the mother language, obviously Portuguese, math, natural sciences, and social sciences. They are divided in 4. And each school, they have some flexibility to play with those hours. Mostly the itineraries one. They can profit from any line. They can follow each line, but the idea is that students, high school students, they are free to guide, to slope their high school education towards a specific branch. Well, basically, that's what's going on now in Brazil. Let me close this window. Laszlo, do you have some words on this too?
Yes, we also had. I had made a very short presentation. Just let me share. Just a sec. Can you see this one?
Just a second. Not yet. Megna?
Not yet. I forgot.
Megna.
I'm sorry. Done. I didn't allow it to share.
Oh, perfect.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a PDF.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
Just let me mention just a couple of words. We haven't discussed with Professor Ravi just to which are the focus points. But so let me just mention that in Hungary, the schooling system relies on 12 years, and mainly it's, I mean, in elementary school and secondary school, but so mainly 8 years are elementary schools and 4 years are for secondary school, but there are some other variants also. At the end of the 12th year, students, it's not mandatory, but those who would like to attend to university, they have to take a maturity exam. And also, I just collected that what topics are or what subjects are studied related to our discussion in elementary and secondary school. So mathematics is present in every year. And what is important from the point of view of statistics is that about 10 or 15% of the curriculum is about probability and statistics. Informatics appears in now it's called digital culture nowadays, and it appears in elementary school until almost the end of secondary school. There is a unified science class before in the 6th year, and separate science subjects appear at the 7th year. Also biology and geography appears, but this is when chemistry and physics appears. And mainly if students don't want to specialize on physics and chemistry, then their study will end at the end of the 10th year. Also, depending on the school, there are some extra classes possible as a specialization on maybe physics, chemistry, biology. It depends on the profile of the schools. And just let me mention that our students also has very inhomogeneous background. I mean, we have some students coming from elite secondary schools, but many students are coming from secondary schools which are not that high at that high level in natural sciences. And so we have a very diverse background. Also, what is in a tendency, for example, in the last 30 or 25 years, that, and also I think maybe it's also an international tendency that the years where the science subjects appears are decreasing, and also the number of hours to focus on topics are also decreasing. So I don't know what's the tendency in Brazil, but I know that also soft skills should be taught in elementary and secondary schools. So and focuses are changing. So we see that there is a tendency that in the number of classes for physics and chemistry is decreasing. And also what is important, that I mentioned the maturity exam, which stands of Hungarian language, mathematics, history, and a foreign language. And also there's a subject which can be chosen, which is an optional subject. It is not necessary to choose a science subject. So there was a debate among Hungarian researchers and the delegation that maybe it might help that if it is mandatory to choose a science subject to have a maturity exam, then it would maybe help, or maybe would improve the level of the knowledge of the students entering into universities. And also since the decree, yes, Jose? All right. So since the number of years when physics and chemistry appears in secondary school, now we also have the phenomena that maybe in some situations the the discussed physical phenomena doesn't have the proper mathematical background. So maybe the mathematical background appears a little bit later than, and we should speak about physics in secondary school. So mainly these are. So maybe if we would introduce, or we would let a little bit more focus on science subject would help, or even having a mandatory maturity exam in one of the chosen science subjects would help the level of incoming freshmen. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, that's the part of, well, you can just raise your hands at any time. I'm monitor here the sequence. Now we are basically free to debate the topics, but we decided that we should basically follow a sequence. I think, correct me if I'm not mistaken, Laszlo, please. I think we decided physics first, and then calculus, and then computing, and then statistics. But yes, we have a question here already. Please, Anna. No?
Oh,
good morning. Or
good morning. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think now I heard your sequence, so I think I would like to mention something about the experience in calculus. So sorry, I don't want to interrupt your sequence. So maybe later after physics.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's go to physics first.
Just a sec. Should we begin, or should would the Brazilian crunks would like to begin?
Well, as let it flow. I would say let it flow. And if you want to go first,
okay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I just start a presentation for you. I just prepared a small one. Okay, I hope it will work. So thank you very much. My name is István Seres, and I'm working in the Department of Physics, and I would like to say a few words about our experience with the basic physics education. Just a short list of our colleagues who is working here, but I would like to focus on the subjects mainly. We have different subjects, and what you see in this list, that until this academic year, we had a very important subject, the basic physics, which was actually a course where we went through on the most important sections of the secondary school physics. But this year, the leadership of the university decided to change the system, and we had the time of this lecture in the university subjects. But yeah, perhaps some later we will discuss it more detail. But the biggest problem, I think, in this way, that the last year we could focus clearly, very, very precisely, which are the important sections of the basic physics. And for that one, we did not need any higher mathematical knowledge of the students. So even for the students, it was very clear what they should know from the grammar school physics. But now, I think they are a little bit confused because we teach parallel this remembering course and the university course. And I think from the results, I see that it is a bit more complicated for them. Actually, just to go back a little bit for the grammar school in the physics, that actually, I think the most important last years for this case is the year grade 9 and 10, when everybody learned some physics. And in the last 2 years in the secondary school, If they do not have any specialization in natural sciences, they have a general science subject, but they can choose some specialization, for example, about the physics. Actually, with my colleague Piroska, we have some experience with this one as well, as we teach in a grammar school parallel to the university as well. And what is important that in the end, as a graduating from the secondary school, they can choose one natural science subject, what to take an exam about it. And it can be done in 2 levels. There is a medium level exam and a higher level exam. And originally this higher level exam was found out to prepare the students for the universities. But in our experience shows that very few students are choosing this higher level exam. Actually, when the students were coming to the university, we used to take a kind of entrance test about their knowledge. As a sample, I just took some questions about this test we were asking them to fulfill. Altogether, they have 25 questions from the physics, and these are the results. And in parallel, we made a kind of questionnaire about their preliminary physics education. So it turned out that even in the engineering faculty or in the engineering studies, only 10% of the students were graduating from physics in the secondary school, and only 4% of them was taking this higher level physics exam, which was originally thought to be important for the universities. We can see these results these facts in the results as well, as the average value of the evaluation of this test was less than 50% for the mechanical engineering specialization as well, and even for the environmental engineering specialization. However, here the results are a bit higher because they know, even in the grammar school, that they will need the physics. But despite this fact, their results was not so nice. Actually, after that, we made another test with some calculation as well. This was already from the university material, some theoretical questions and some problem solving. And even this second test was very, very bad. I mean, the results was not so nice. What I see that the students are not really well prepared for the university when they are coming here to study. So what is very important, I think I took some conclusions that I don't know if it's, what I see that there was some change several years before. Perhaps this generation was learning the physics and mathematics during the COVID era. During this time, we had an online education here in Hungary for more than 1 year. Perhaps that is the effect of it. But even I think the problem that they cannot focus so well on what they do. So there is some general problems, I think, with these things. What is the result? That if we want to get an acceptable result with these students as well, then it needs much more effort from the educators. We have continuously offering some consultations for them, that if somebody wants to go ahead, we would like to help him, but it is a much bigger work than it was some years before. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Professor. At some point, I was just wondering whether you were talking about your students or our students. Anyway, we have a question. Andres, please.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to tell, firstly, some our experience with the organization of the subject, because we decided in 2004, if I'm not wrong, to offer physics, the first physics course in the second semester of the first year. So we offer, firstly we offer calculus, and then all our physics courses are calculus-based physics. Some aspects are good, other not. But I would think about a basic physics subject in the first semester to get that would not need math knowledge, deep math knowledge. Maybe it would be something interesting. We now are discussing the inclusion of a basic math subject because the problems we have with the incoming students. A question I have is, do you think that, for example, I saw you have optics and modern physics in the topics, if they are needed for all careers and all courses, because this is a discussion we have here. For example, biosystems engineering have modern physics, but on the other hand, food engineering does not have. So, but maybe in a modern world, modern physics would be needed. So I would like to hear you about this question.
Okay. Actually, it was listed over there, but we have to make compromises, of course. Even it depends on which of group we are teaching about. For example, we have some students for mechatronics. I think for them, the optics is very, very important because optical sensors and a lot of things is working on that. Or if you think on the other hand, we have some environmental engineers, and for them, as an environmental protection, we are teaching them about the nuclear radiation and dosimetry. They have to measure with a dosimeter different radiation types. So for them, we are giving bigger focus or bigger stress on that part of the subjects. Or even for the agricultural engineering, they have an isotope laboratory when they are measuring different things, how the kalium is traveling in the plant. So we had to teach them the basics of these things, but the microsievert per hour means and this kind of things. But we are separate a little bit when we can make distinguish between them. So of course, for the mechanical engineers, these subjects are not so important, but even they get some very basics of that one. But we try to distinguish them and we try to make the stress for that subjects or that parts what are the most important for that specialization.
Thank you.
And just one more word about the calculus, and the physics calculus starts in the second semester. It would be really helpful for us as well. But as the physics is a preliminary study for a lot of subjects, for example, in the mechanical engineering, that is a big problem for us that we had to teach physics already in the first semester, when they did not learn derivation yet and a lot of things from the mathematics. So it's a big compromise for us how to do it, to be understandable, but to be in the university level as well. So it's not so easy to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, it should be stated that according to Laszlo Szekely, he told me you were in charge of 20 different courses, whereas here, yeah, is that right? You're right. So and he said, well, if we move one piece, but if we have care about the other 19, and here we are, Andres can confirm me. We are only in charge of 2 engineering courses, so we have more. It's easier for us, I think. Well, any other questions as far as physics is concerned? Shall we move to calculus?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let's move to calculus.
I've just seen, sorry, I'm just coming back. I asked one of the colleagues, Judith Poor, to mention some words about, but I've just seen that she just logged off. I don't know why. Maybe she has some technical problems. So I would like to ask. I don't know what should be the order now. So maybe I ask Eva Dekan just to jump in. So we are just not making. So she would try. If Judith is not here, just let me mention a couple of words, maybe from the general problems. Maybe I don't know why. I just seen maybe she has some technical problems. So for mathematics, just the basic problems are that students cannot follow. What we see that István also mentioned that also they have background on basic calculations, and now also COVID era caused a lot of problem. I mean, the quality of education during the COVID era was not that good and also when in person. What we can see also is the appearance of technology. I mean that maybe students are relying too much on technology. I mean that whenever a calculator came in, they calculate everything with calculator, nothing on paper, nothing with paper, or just think about. And also what we see that even that when, for example, later when they would use or when they have the opportunity to use, for example, artificial intelligence, they just have the output, don't know what to do with it, don't know what it means. And also what we can see, we just made a lot of lists, so it would take hours to discuss. I'm sorry, so they can. So what we can see that they can generalize very, very toughly. I mean that if they understand one subject and if I change the object, then they don't understand. Also, just let me mention that if we teach. I'm sorry to speak of a couple of words on statistics. If I'm speaking about some vegetable, then they understand. If I change it to some other object, but the mathematical problem leads back to then they don't understand it. So abstract thinking is usually also a problem. And in general in science, what we see that usually students don't like it. I mean that mathematics, physics, chemistry are such subjects where you have to sit down, you have to study. You need a lot of focus, and maybe this process is a little bit monotonous, but you have to focus, you have to practice, and we feel that there is a lot of lack in it. So and also what we can see that even the desire to have higher thoughts or more complicated thoughts or just to have a focus on something and have a deeper thought is currently, we feel that it is missing or the tendency is decreasing, or even we see decreasing motivation even on the topic which is very important for their career. That's what maybe just a couple of words about in general on mathematics. So if Judith is not here, just let me ask Eva Dekan just to jump in and mention some words about her classroom experiments in basic mathematics or in calculus.
Sure.
I'm sorry, my speaking is not about teaching calculus and mathematics, but some, so 3 different methods I tried, which are not the normal thing. The teaching is standing at the table and telling what to do. So these 3, for me, new teaching methods. One, Kagan cooperative learning. It's a structures learning around collaborative group activities. It's designed to enhance both academic achievement and social development. Key principles: students rely on each other to succeed. Each student is responsible for their own learning. Students actively encourage and help one another. All students have opportunities to contribute. Kagan methods promote higher level thinking skills as students discuss and justify their ideas, improved communication and interpersonal skills, increased motivation and engagement in learning, positive and supportive learning environment. This method is well known in the world. I have tried it when I had time, and I'm interested in every new methods how to teach. Second, retrieval practice. It's a testing method. According to this method, retrieving information through tests, quizzes, exams, it's not a waste of time, but a tool for learning. I introduced end-of-class questions. It's intermediate retrieval, homework within a week, and a delayed retrieval. The purpose of the end-of-class quizzes was to guide students toward the most important concepts, theorems, and procedures. Since there was immediate feedback and correction, this helped students to store correct memories. Students also participated in classes with greater interest and more intense attention because they knew there would be an assessment at the end of each class. They also received the homework on each occasion, which had to be completed within a week. Based on these results, it was another subject some years ago. Based on these results, we implemented the online homework system in our 2 largest subjects, starting this academic year for the purpose of reviewing high school material. Third one, gamification. Yes, it takes time too on lessons. Gamification involves elements commonly found in games, such as playfulness, curiosity, socialization, exploration, design, performance, tension, competition, and recognition, and applying them to new concepts. These game elements can interact in complex ways within a game, complementing each other, competing, or even contradicting each other. I have adapted various board games to create games suitable for different learning situations, lesson topics, and difficulty levels. I can talk about them, but I am not very interested in some of them, or you know them, or you are interested in them.
Oh, thank you. That's the idea, is to exchange opinions and different experiences. Thank you. That's the main point of this webinar, I guess. Dr. Anna Tsinkowska, I remember you had something to collaborate, please. Did I pronounce your name correctly, by the way?
More or less, yeah. Thank you so much. So actually, I think I also prepared a presentation about our department's findings, but it mostly was repeated. So I don't know if I should go ahead. So what kind of challenges we face when we are teaching students from various schools and various countries. We just started an English-speaking math program as well. So, but I don't know if it's really worth, or I just can go briefly. So I don't want to take too much time because I think now we are about to end this webinar. So it's up to you. I can make it very short. I really don't want to talk too much.
No, be my guest. Be my guest.
Well, then I have a very few slides. So if you let me just share the main
Sure.
findings, which
Sure.
were already mentioned in most talks. So I will just share my screen with you. And okay, so and maybe I have to turn my microphone. Oh no, I can't turn because then you won't hear me. So sorry about that. So when we teach introductory math, then we usually, in Hungary, it depends on the high school, but usually about 10% of the high school classes deal with mathematics, but there are some special schools where there is a much more or much higher level of mathematics. So it means that there is a very high variation in the knowledge of the students. So they can enroll with a high school diploma, but with a very high variation. And if we have foreign students, then the experience is that their knowledge is even more varies than in Hungary. So it means that if we want to teach something, then we have to repeat those basics. So some key topics were excluded from the high school curriculum, which was taught before. So right now we just really need to review most of the things. And so what is generally for this population or young people, it was mentioned that they have serious reading comprehension problems, so they don't really understand the situation, word problems, calculation problems. Number concepts are always also deficient for many students. They don't really know how to deal with complex algebraic operations, transformations. So it's really basic skills are missing for many students. And also improper use of parentheses, operations, etc., also in substitution into formulas. So it means that we need to, if we really want to make sure that the students are prepared for higher level courses, we have to review and repeat these basic things, or at least give them as homework assignments. Now, we also mentioned that there is a lack of motivations. So they don't see, students do not see why mathematics is important for them. They do not see how they can utilize the knowledge. They have a negative experience in high school, and it's very, I would say, chic to say that I am stupid in math. So it's socially accepted, unfortunately, to be proud that someone is not very good in math. So that's a negative attitude, and unfortunately we really have to deal with this issue. And also the lack of motivation, and they are not very keen to get very high marks, so they usually just want to pass the course. So minimum effort, that is also the basic approach to the students. Now, how can we do, or what can we do to help the students? First of all, we want to reduce the dropout rate from the university. Mathematics is rather a challenging course, and many students would fail. So now the university leadership wants us to help and kind of support the progress of the students. So we have a monitoring system, it's called Progress, and we need to monitor the student activities month by month, how they achieve, or if there is any red flags, it means that they don't show up or don't do assignments. So a personal monitoring is being put into effect from this year, and it requires a lot of efforts from the teachers, and we do not know if it will have a significant effect. So hopefully in future the dropout rate will decrease, and hopefully the students will get better results in mathematics. So this is our hope, but I don't know if we will see it as the time develops. So thank you for your attention. I don't want to talk too much longer, because actually I think it's already time. So I stop my presentation and thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. Laszlo, I think we should go. Shall we move now to the computing? Yes, we have a question. I think we have a question.
I just wanted to mention that two of our colleagues already prepared some words about mathematics, but maybe we don't have time now. So I think Nora Stettner and Gyöngyi Bakuti wanted to speak a little bit about their experiences, but let's go on maybe for informatics now and or computation and maybe if some of you are interested or in later discussions, we will also discuss more on mathematics. So let's jump to computation maybe, or I don't know. Would you like to begin with computation or?
Yes, I have a presentation myself, which is a quite quick one experience I have. Let me share with you this screen. Actually,
okay, and then our colleague will come.
Yes, thanks. Well, despite I belong to the Biosystems Engineering department, I teach numerical methods, for instance, for sophomore students, yes, third and fourth semester, so they end the second year. And what I try to do in my discipline is to link the numerical method to more advanced disciplines in their course in the follow-up. This is a paper basically summarizing what I have been doing as far as numerical method teaching is concerned. Then I can give you all the details later. But basically, that's what I would like to share. So I look ahead, like for instance, in hydraulics, electrostatics, transport, phenomena, unit operations, and general physics, and then go back to the numerical methods. So think of flow friction fraction using Colebrook equation, direct currents in a network, and the rheological parameters in the Newtonian fluid, and so on. Extraction, temperature, time profiles, and harmonic oscillators, and steady-state heat condition. So here we have the required numerical methods to be implemented. I use Excel, by the way. Why Excel? Because according to our students in their internships, Excel is mostly welcome. It's like everyday usage. So I implement all these numerical methods in Excel. Looking ahead at both programs we have, either food engineering and biosystems engineering, they have application on them. So I start my lectures like doing this. Oh, this is a problem that you face in this and that discipline. So let us now have a look at the mathematical model, implement it in Excel, and then that's it. They have this. I implemented in my computer. They have this. I projected in this screen. Students follow. They are sitting in their individual computers, and then well, it's like step by step. They follow me. At the end, we discuss. We play with the numbers and see what happens next. Then this is my experience I have with you. I would like to share with you. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm asking Mrs. Orova, who is the head of the Department of Engineering Informatics, to present what type of problems she meets during teaching computation and informatics. Oké, és akkor de nincsen megosztva a képernyő. Akkor ezt megosztják. Oops, I'm sorry. Sorry, and we are just on this one. Can you see the presentation?
Yes. Perfect.
So good afternoon. I am László Neurova, and I am working for the Department of Engineering Informatics of the Institute of Technology. I am teaching informatics. I have been teaching informatics for decades. Our department is one of the departments in Hungary who started first teaching computer science. Today, we have two basic subjects for freshmen, informatics for the technical major, and basics of digital competencies for the other students, for the agricultural students. And we have a second semester subject as well, what is the knowledge of data engineering, when we deal the data life cycle from the gathering that data until the visualization. We use Windows operating system, and we teach little or revision. It is a revision for the students, the Word and Excel in each first semester subjects, but at the beginning we make the revision, and after it we add some new things in our curriculum. In informatics, so the technical students learn Python as well, and the other students, the agricultural students, learn more Word and a little bit of PowerPoint. We have hundreds of students, and we have quite high lessons per week in each subject. Our students come from everywhere from Hungary, and they have very different knowledge of computer science. I would like to tell you some basic things about the public education in Hungary, because there was a subject in elementary and secondary school, the technology, and its purpose was to develop of the manual dexterity and to relax during the school year. And instead of this technology subject came the computer science subject. And when the computers were in a larger number in the schools, and the schools has internet access, then this subject had new names, informatics and digital culture. But what is very important, that computer science or informatics was not an important subject, but gets more emphasis because the lessons per week has increased 125% during the last years. So we have very good students that and they can work on the computer, and they can solve problems with the help of the computer. But at the moment, I have to speak about the students who has weak computer skills, and that's why I have to speak about the challenges, because this webinars courses, this webinars focuses on it. So for us, it is very difficult to engage students into learning, because they have a lot of type of devices that they can use, and it is very interesting for them. They reach very easily the internet and the internet services, the social media and the games. And in the labs, we, as teachers, has to work around not only to help the students to solve the problem, but to disturb them in chatting and to focus on working or press to work. And it is very sad, but we have some students. It's true that really very few students that they have problem to interpret of written text, and it's very sad to say that, but we have to explain the meaning of the text sometimes. So we meet some students who has no motivation, and they ask me or us as teachers how to turn on the computer even in the third week. So it is very boring and we don't like it. And I know that there are a lot of type of keyboards, and students use the smartphone day and night, but they don't know, for example, why the escape key is for, and how to type special characters like special brackets, how to use the Shift and RGR keys on the keyboard. Some students need help in using backspace and delete button as well. So I think that they should learn it in the grammar school. So they have some problem with the file manipulation, how to create, copy, rename files or folders, and great problem is the compression and extraction of the files. They don't know the difference between the absolute and the relative path references. We have a lot of times the question, where is my file? When they have to upload their files to the e-learning server at the end of the exam. Excel is a special task for us because it needs mathematical skills from the students, and we have some basic problems. Sometimes they don't know when to use a bracket in an Excel formula, or how to use the help of the Excel when we write or fill in the parameters of a function, because they can read. So I don't know why they don't understand it. And in Hungary, the operating system separator is not comma, but semicolon. And it is often a problem to distinguish between the semicolon and colon to the students. So the colon is for the block of cells, but the semicolon is separates the cells here, for example. And we have to practice a lot of the using absolute and relative cell references. So they have to have experience with it. So we have to let them to solve it in the wrong way, and then they can see, oh, it is wrong, and sometimes they know how to correct the problem. When teaching programming, we are faced to the lack of the understanding of how variables value is changing in a flowchart or in the program, in the running program. So how can we handle these challenges? First of all, at the first part of the semester, we learn what they have learned already in the secondary schools. So we make revisions, and we would like to take each student onto the same level. It is not a successful thing, but so we practice a lot. Then we ask students to help each other, because some students are very good. And we ask students to practice at home as well, because otherwise they forget everything for the next week. We suggest to visit our homepage of the subject, because they can find their step-by-step guide and the presentations, PowerPoint presentations of the lectures, and electronic tests to practice. We had regularly consultations, either in the lab or online, and we give the opportunity to the students to repeat tests a lot of times until they can solve our problems. And to tell the trust, we learn a lot from the students as well. So the students teach us not to ask them what they don't know. So yes, so if we would like to let them pass, then we have to find a very, very easy question. And sometimes the easy question is not easy because it is not the subject of the informatics, but it is mathematics. For example, if we ask how much is 2 to 0, if the exam is about the binary system, they don't know. So we are very sad, but then we can't pass the students. So we do our best, and we trust young people. And thanks for the attention.
Thank you. Oh, let me tell you that I have the same problem sometimes, exactly the same problem. Let me give you a tip. Sometimes instead of, as far as referencing is concerned, I have renamed cells. By renaming cells, I have realized, I have experienced that students, the way we write on the board or the way they write it down on paper is precise, almost exactly the same way, character by character, the way we implement in Excel. It has helped. You know, it has not solved everything, but it has helped. It has reduced problems concerning the cross-reference. Well, we have questions more time. Laszlo, what do you think? I think we have a tight schedule, actually. As you wish. We have time for one more presentation or a couple of questions before we close. Or shall we close?
Well, I have one presentation. If
no,
you.
Yes, let's go. Let's do it.
Shall we do it? Okay.
Yes, how we can.
Then I try to share my screen. It's a PowerPoint presentation. Just a moment. There are lots of things here, but not my PPT. So I just share my screen. But actually, the share button is inactive. Maybe I'm not allowed to share. Okay, so here we go. It will be fine. So I think I'm able to share my PPT. I try to put it on full screen.
Perfect, thanks.
Do you see full screen?
Yes, perfect.
So thank you. Feedback. Yeah, I'm Tamás Bódai. I'm a member of the Applied Statistics department. It's in Buda, but I do most of my teachings at Gödöllő. for basically everyone who needs statistics, and that's most everyone, I suppose. So yeah, we are supposed to speak about problems, and we, I think, heard enough of them. And yeah, I guess it has been voiced that the problems that the students have are shockingly simple. And I think this should not make us sad, but rather happy. So these are not difficult problems that they have. So with time, they can overcome those problems, time and encouragement. So I would like to approach this subject a bit more positively and talk about the design problem of improving educational outcome. Basically, improving what? The grade of the student or the average grade of the class. So you can think of educational outcome as a regression problem. So you have the predictant, the grade, and you have some function f, regression function, and it acts on the predictor variables. So x in boldface is a group of variables that can predict how well the student would do. And of course, we can always overlook something, add some noise to the equation. That's the unaccounted for effects. So what are the predictors? I just, with a simple mind, without actually formal education in teaching, I'm not one of those who has a right to teach in secondary school, only at university. So intuitive to me are the difficulty of the subject. I call it a variable x1. The IQ of the students. So, you know, there are elephants in the room, let's name them. Otherwise, it's difficult to change things. The third variable I listed here is the motivation of the student, meaning their interest in the subject or learning itself. Because, of course, in primary as well as all the way to university, we have to learn things that we don't know what it's used for, but useful for. But we would be fairly happy to learn it if we have a little bit of fun at learning at all. Then X4 is the student's ability or readiness to focus. The distractions, right? In the class, the problem of the generation Z. So we have heard about the smart devices that causes a problem. Then, very importantly, the confidence of the student. So low confidence will not result in good results, good grades. And then finally, let's not look for the problems only elsewhere, but we as teachers have some things to think about ourselves. So the teacher's competence of their subject will determine the outcome of the teaching experience and the grades. So that's, of course, dedication to the subject of mathematics and the teacher's intelligence, because there is variation between students as well as teachers. And secondly, on the teacher's part, the ability of teaching. So how good communication skills they have, or what sort of teaching methods they use. We saw that Eva tried out different methods that actually have a name. So people might think of them by themselves, reinventing the wheel, but they were studied academically a bit more in depth. And this teaching ability is not just something that depends on the IQ of the teacher, but also the emotion intelligence, how much they care, how much they understand why the students have certain problems, instead of just complaining about them in the common room. So the predictors are not independent, of course, these 7 predictor variables. Take, for example, X3, the motivation of the student. Surely, if the student can't focus, they will be also not motivated, or if they are not confident, X5. Or if the teacher is not very convincing that they know their subject, or they care and good at saying what the problem is about. Then we have X4 at the second row, the focus of the student. Vice versa, it depends on motivation, the confidence of the student. If someone is not confident that they would be able to learn something new, clearly they will not focus. And again, the teacher's ability to engage the student to maintain focus is a factor. So we have to look into ourselves as well. And then X5, confidence. I have talked about it as a independent variable, but as a dependent variable, I think there is a huge focus on it, because I realize I can put all the other variables in here, in the argument of function 5. So if we can boost the confidence of the students, we can achieve a lot. And just a note here in the bottom that because there are these interdependence between the variables, it's a bit of a vicious circle to manage teaching. So to break the vicious circle, you need external influence. So either the boss needs to step in and advise and support fellow teachers, or the teacher themselves need to manage themselves. So maybe self-educate a little bit about teaching, or look into a bit of psychology, for example. That could help. So if you approach teaching, or specifically the task of improving education, increasing the grades of the students, so what are the desired questions? Do we have leverage at all? So we talked about 7 predictor variables, most intuitively. I didn't spend much time on making this presentation, so it's a bit half-baked on a number of levels. But so, for example, if you take X2, which was, I think that was the IQ of the student. We have no leverage on that. Yes, IQ, nurture and nature, but we spend too little time with the student, just a few months, so we can't even nurture their IQ. So it's a given. We don't have leverage. Then point 2 is about the difficulty of the subject. Well, maths is one of the subjects that scares most people. One of my colleagues even said that it's chic to say that I'm stupid at maths. So, of course, we can help by lowering the bar, making the exam simpler, that they can pass it without understanding their own answers. But do we want to do that? Not really, because the reputation of the university is at stake, but also the competitiveness of the country or the sector. So we want to create a competitive workforce for the industry. So what are the leverages that we teachers have? Well, you can think of low-hanging fruits, like things that are the easier to achieve. If you formally look at this problem, you have to look at these partial derivatives, which are kind of sensitivities. So if I improve a little bit of that leverage, let's say somehow I increase the focus of the students, then maybe I can achieve a large change in the outcome, improve the grades. So I didn't put numbers, obviously, on these partial derivatives, but these are the things that you could look into. What are the low-hanging fruits, the easiest things to improve? And a list of the sensitivities ordered in increasing order can create priorities for the teacher. So I go through these three things, characteristic of the students. First, the confidence issue. As I said, this is the one thing I think that deserves a lot of attention on the part of the teacher, because I think you can improve a lot the grades if you increase the confidence of the students. My big advice to every teacher colleague is that do not underestimate the kids, the students. Don't pass a negative judgment on them, even to your own self. Stupid, lazy, you know them, because you will not able to hide that this is what you think of your students. And the student will accept your opinion because you are an authority figure, and with low confidence, they will perform poorly. So if the student doesn't know simple things that you can give an example of a million, then don't look at it as a major hindrance. Look at them as gaps of knowledge. Maybe there are many gaps, but they can be filled in. It only needs time and obviously the willingness on the part of the student to spend that time with. By the way, if you want to know more about this issue with confidence, then you can Wikipedia the Pygmalion effect. It's to do with a psychological experiment many decades ago. Or you can read David Robson's The Expectation Effect. So, these are self-fulfilling prophecies. If you have a bad expectation, it could be realized. You are going in that direction. And if you have positive expectations, let's say you are sick, but you think that you might just make it, then your brain is a fantastic device. It can mine its own chemistry and produce chemicals that will heal you. So yeah, this is the book. I think number 2 is focus. I'm sorry, it's a little bit longer than I expected. The internet is a miracle, absolutely. It has its flip side, that it makes people a bit shallow. I recall watching a documentary, and the person who invented the infinite scroll on your device regretted it, because it's a genius, yes, how to hook people on social media, but it makes immense harm. So people will lose their literacy. So instead of reading, they look at pictures. But pictures are not anymore good. Videos are the thing. So is anyone else reading anymore? I think it can be turned back, but students are fortunate if there is someone who can guide them in the right direction. And the teachers also got lazy a bit, or we can say that in a catchy way. Maybe they are not lazy. It might come from this publish and perish atmosphere that if you don't do research, then you might lose your job or you might not get money, especially in Eastern Europe. The salary of teachers is extremely low. It's a humiliation, honestly. So if you don't like what you do, don't do this, because the money won't make you happy. Oh yeah, I just realized that could be X8 money. Inject some money in the system, and if it's well used, then it could make miracles as well. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that this publish and perish thing asks you to do more research. So you have to do less teaching, or you don't have enough time to prepare for your teaching. You can use PowerPoint presentations. The students at the lecture can just recline, sit back and listen. They don't have to do anything else. But what we achieve is that this is precisely what they don't do, the listening. And also, if you are just saying a long monologue like me now, sorry about it, then you lose engagement. So you need to bother probably the students with questions and have a learning experience that is interactive. So how can you then make the student focus? My simple recipe, as I say, it's all half-baked. There's no silver bullet, but here are some ideas, and it's up for discussion. Don't use PowerPoint slides. Don't use ready-made slides, because then the students will be inactive during the class and lose focus. So instead, go the good old ways, write on the whiteboard, write only so much as you expect them to revise from for their exams. Or on practicals, likewise, do things real time. Don't show work exercises like an Excel sheet readily in its full beauty with colors and drop-down menus and everything. Solve the exercises there in front of them, because then they have time to do it with you in parallel. So they are again more active, more engaged. And there is this idea, which is not mine, it's actually a British model, how a tutorial practical is conducted in the computer classroom. The tutor is not actively demonstrating something, solving exercises, but is there in absolute silence, and the students are there in absolute silence, and they have a syllabus, a list of exercises, and they are working on them. And if they are stuck, they can ask from you. So depending on if the student believes that they can ask you a question, then they would. And thirdly, how can you get students motivated? Well, just a moment. Just a moment. I need to finish this. Okay. So you could partition actually the class. So instead of the students working by themselves all the time, have some time in the end to call up one or two students to present the solutions. And if they couldn't solve it, then of course that's your time to, as a teacher, present them the solution. And what you can do is that you hand out some scores, punitive scores or rewards for solving the exercises well, or not even making an attempt of this. So you can use just a moment. It's the good old stick. Marta, can you go to my room, please?
No.
Please.
No.
Sticks and carrots. Sticks is the plus point, the reward, and carrots is the punishment if you don't do this. So basically, of course, in this silent period of the practical, the students could just sit around, sit it out. But if there is a risk that they are called up and get minus points, then I think it's a motivation, it's a stick that they work. And if they work, then they might even work well. They go for the glories or the plus points because they want to pass the subject certainly. So you need the register of attendance because otherwise, of course, there is no risk of not learning. So that's the tutorials, and otherwise, whether in lectures or tutorials, I think it's a good idea to keep it interactive. Keep asking questions, not just tell them the theorem, but ask them what's their guess, what's next, what they can imply logically from what they heard so far. And another thing is extracurricular activity. So if you have some subject and you have no time to say everything, or it's really beyond what you can expect from the average student, for the best students, you can pose a little problem they can work on at home, and they get extra scores. Of course, you need to mind the equality of opportunity, that everyone has the same chance, but otherwise I had students that were quite responsive to these extra little projects. There are caveats. They might find the solution easily online or use ChatGPT. Actually, that's not so much a problem because you achieved already something if they look up this thing on the internet or ask ChatGPT. You don't need to give all the scores that you promised in the beginning. You give proportionately what you think is their merit. And there are people who like to slag off ChatGPT nowadays. Yes, it makes mistakes, I know, but it's good to see those mistakes and figure out ways how to guide ChatGPT to the right solution, or what are the types of questions that you can't ask from it, and what are the types that you can, and you get incredibly popular. Sorry, not popular, productive. So yeah. So I think in general we need to be positive, and it sticks. You know. So, yeah, it's all for the students. I hope you can take something away from this talk. And any question is welcome in case you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very interesting. I think we should. It's time to close now. As Dr. Lazov told me once, we could spend hours and hours talking about this subject. It's only 2 hours is actually still feel. But anyway, thank you for. I think I would like to invite Julia Moravan to make the closure. She spent all the time with us, so she deserves it.
It was like an insight to the backstage. Like before, I never taught, so I was always a student, and now I had a hint to what's in professors' head when they are working with a student. So it was very interesting and very impressive. This could be already the first publication of the two groups, like writing something about that. It would be very interesting. We made I asked and Jose made a research about how many common publications exist between MATE and the Szent István University, the university before MATE, and USP, and there are 16 publications. So it's time to boost a little bit this number. And actually, I just want to close with the good news that might be a good news for both sides, is that our government has a scholarship program called Stipendium Hungaricum, and each year until this year we offer 250 places for Brazilian students to study in Hungary. And this program was closed last year because of restructuring. And now we have the chance that the new contract will be signed this year already and will be open again for Brazilian students who want to study in Hungarian universities in the field of post-graduation. So postgraduate studies for a period between 3 or 10 months. And the focus of the call, actually it's open for all scientific fields, but the focus of the call is STEM areas and including agriculture. So I just would like to emphasize this, that maybe from next year there will be this possibility for MATE receiving students from USP for a short period of time to do exchange. I think it's a great possibility, and we should promote this possibility in the Brazilian institution. And basically from my side, that's it. I really enjoyed the conversation. I hope we can continue. And thank you again for dedicating your time to this cooperation.
Thank you, Yulia. Laszlo, your final words, please.
Thank you very much for the praising words. I think that and I do hope that this was just the beginning. We had a lot of interesting talks, and as I see that we have some same problems, and even more discussions will help to maybe just to get some good practices and ideas from each other, and to help to improve our teaching methods, and maybe the results of the students, or we don't lose too much as much students as we used to. So I think that it was very useful, and I hope to continue the discussion in the near future. Thank you very much.
And we will surely, definitely, we'll continue. Well, let me close now. It was my pleasure to have all of you here. It was interesting talks, and well, we have much, as you said, Lars, we have much things in common, and we should explore them. So this is, I guess, the first step towards this prospective cooperation between the two institutions. Well, köszönöm szépen, muito obrigado, thank you very much, and see you next time. Vislát, até logo.
Thank you. Köszönöm, obrigada. Tchau, tchau.